On this episode of The Boss Lady.
I have always been fighting for inclusion. That is why I was fighting even in the bank. They say we are 60%. So then we should have 60% in decision-making places. Maybe if we can have a president who is a woman who can also show that women are able to rule.
Dr. Mary Okello takes us behind some of her reasons for starting Makini School.
The standards of education were dropping in the country. Class would have 70 or 80 students per teacher. So we felt there was something that we needed to do. Kenya had a very high birth rate. I think it was 5%, one of the highest in the country, in the world.
Last week, we talked about Dr. Mary Okello's endeavors in the banking sector, and this week, we take a look at her moves in the education sector and more specifically, her involvement in Makini School.
My name is Mary Okello, founder of Makini Schools, Kenya Women Finance Trust, Barclays Bank Mentoring Program, and this is Boss Lady.
Last week, we saw Dr. Mary Okello wear her banking hat. With this background, you would think she would have been more suited for a career in the financial world, but in 1978, Dr. Mary Okello opted to set up her first kindergarten. Since that beginning, Makini School has grown into one of East Africa's most eminent educational institutions. The prestigious Makini Group of Schools was founded under the name Riara Gardens Academy in 1978. At the time, it only had 8 students and was located at a colonial bungalow where Dr. Okello and her late husband lived. Fast forward to now. The school has 4 campuses: the Ngong Road, Mother Campus, the Makini Junior Academy on State House Avenue, the Migosi and Kibos Campus, both in Kisumu. It is now a respected institution and is renowned for good academic performance in Africa, with around 3,200 students from kindergarten to grade 12. Mrs. Okello sold a 71% stake in Makini Group of Schools to UK investor Shoal Limited and Ardec Limited, a South African company with interests in education, 2018 in April, at a price estimated to be a whopping 1 billion shillings. Makini additionally has a number of offshoots which include Makini College, Makini Training Consultancy, Baresha Limited, which specializes in creating digital content.
We started Makini together in 1978. If you remember, in 78, the standards of education were dropping in the country. Classes were getting bigger in the public schools. A class would have 70 or 80 students per teacher. So we felt there was something that we needed to do. Kenya had a very high birth rate. I think it was 5%, one of the highest in the country, in the world. So there were more children than that the government could cater for in schools. But apart from that, we also realized that public education sometimes doesn't have room for gifted and talented children. So we really wanted a school that could cater for these children, and we were hoping we would start a school for gifted and talented children so that their needs could be catered for. One of my children, my daughter, is one of these who is very gifted, and by age 3 she was reading. I never taught her, but she was.
She knew how to read.
Yeah, so right now she has about 5 degrees. She's doing her 6th degree. She's doing her PhD at Oxford University. By the time she finishes, she will have done 3 degrees at Oxford University.
Wow! 3 degrees plus a PhD. She is really taking up on her mother. Let's take a look at the history of academics in Kenya. Kenya began a campaign for free primary education after independence in 1963. Since then, the system of education has undergone transformation thrice. Before independence, elementary education was based on the colonial system of education. In 1967, Kenya, with Uganda and Tanzania, formed the East African Community, adopted a single system of education, the 7-4-2-3, which consisted of 7 years of primary education, 4 years of secondary education, 2 years of high school, and 3 to 5 years of university education. Currently, the education system has the CBC system, that is the competency-based curriculum, which was launched by the Ministry of Education in 2017. It came after the 844 system that had been there for a long time, having been launched in January 1985. The 844 system was divided into primary, secondary and university, excluding the preschool years. Primary education started at age of 6 years and consists of 8 years of schooling, out of which first 3 may be in the mother tongue, while English is invariably the language of instruction from standards 4 to 8. It ended with an exam for Kenya's Certificate of Primary Education. Secondary school consisted of 4 years. About 1/4 are government schools, but only the most commendable are able to enter them. The private schools charge high fees, and many offer British O-levels followed by A-levels or the International Baccalaureate. Since the establishment of University of Nairobi in 1970, the first public university in Kenya, 7 more general public universities and an estimated number of 17 private universities have been introduced, most of them run by religious organizations. Only about 2% of children actually reach the universities. One of the reasons is the outflow of students belonging to the higher socioeconomic strata who often prefer foreign universities. Back to the story.
When we looked at her, we felt that people like her needed special attention. Accelerated learning, but not, this average type of education where everybody is treated the same. But we realized that we couldn't. It required a lot of resources. It required specialized training for teachers, and we didn't. We are not able to do so. So we started a regular a regular school, but with aspects of giving the gifted one special attention. And that's why at Makini we started, for example, the sports academy. We also had music room.
Yes, we did.
So that children who had special gifts or talents in that could be encouraged to do that. You saw how we encouraged self-confidence. Makini children.
Self-confidence indeed. Now, Makini has been in existence, it just hit 40 years?
Yes, last year.
Last year was 40 years. This was one of your children. You have 3 kids, and I'm sure Makini was now the 4th child.
Yes.
You decided to let it go. You decided to give it up to another group of people. Why? How did that feel?
There has to be succession. I handed it over to people who will move it to another level. We had done 40. As Okello family, we had done 40 years. And now we have handed over to other experts who will bring in new energy, new ideas, so that it can grow and move to another level.
What other level can Makini move to? Because I feel as a school, it was Makini had its own type of success. For the longest time, Makini was a trendsetter in the education system, and
yes,
it still is.
Yes.
So, how did you feel when it came to giving it up? As much as you feel like it needs to move to another level,
yes,
a succession was needed.
Yes.
But what mental or emotional torture or experience did you go through before letting it go? Is it something that you sat down and thought of for a long time?
Everything has its season. I started the Kenya Women Finance Trust in 1982 with a group of other women. We grew it, and I had to move out to let somebody else continue. Now you can see Dr. Jennifer Iria is carrying on with Kenya Women Finance, moving to another. I started a mentoring program at Barclays Bank, and it reached a level where somebody else would carry it on, So you do something. Sometimes when you are a founder, you are not particularly the best one to to stay there. We were just talking about the other day the Green Belt movement, and we said, I wish Mangari Maathai was here. But we are looking for, we are hoping that there will be somebody who can carry on with it. Yeah, so it's good you hand it to somebody. Sorry, I don't want to look like... I'm just saying, you have to know when to exit. I told you I was trained in military training.
Yes.
They tell you have to, when you enter a room, you have to look for, or you know where the exit is. So you have to know when to exit. Otherwise, if you don't know when to exit, I didn't want to die in the school. I needed to have another life. Now I am in another season. I'm doing other things. But if I had continued and exhausted myself completely, I would not have a chance to do other things that I'm doing. I don't have to wake up at 4 a.m.
You used to wake up at 4 a.m.?
Yes, to check that the buses are out.
No.
Yes. And then don't go to bed until after all the buses
are in.
And all the children have reached home.
Makini had hundreds and hundreds of students.
Yes, but you have to make sure.
And it was so impressive. She knew them personally.
You may have the hundreds, but you have to know them. Each one of them matters.
You knew their name.
Yes.
You knew
their parents.
You
Yes.
knew their problems.
Yes.
You knew their joy.
Yes. We celebrated together, we laughed together, we cried together. They are my children. Even when they leave, even you are still my child.
No, forever. I'm stuck on you like glue. I'm definitely stuck on you like glue.
I'm now happily working with widows, trying to empower widows, trying to tell people who exploit widows to stop doing it, so that women can, widows can also have their dignity. Yeah.
Can we talk about your journey as a widow? Just
Yeah.
You, unfortunately, you lost.
Yes, I lost my... Yes. It was abrupt.
It was abrupt. He was not sick?
No, it was a car accident. Yes.
And you were still running this...
We were running the school, yes. Yes.
So how did you handle it?
It was tough. It was like part of me had gone. Yeah, it was...
By then you'd been married for how many years?
About 30... 69 to 2 or 4, about 30 something years, over 30 years, yes. Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your journey from the time you had the tragic news.
It was tough. It was devastating because when something happens very suddenly, it leaves you very traumatized. So it was a traumatizing experience. But again, I thank God for my upbringing, because I was brought up in a very strict Christian home. And in any adversity, when in any challenging situation, we always turn to God. So I have turned to God, and He has seen me through many challenges. He has protected me, He has provided for me. And I go strong because I know God is there, strengthening me. In Psalm 68, verse 5, he says, I'm the protector of widows, the father of the fatherless. So I know my children have a Father in heaven. I know I am protected by God, who is always there with me. Yes, and I have seen His mercies and His grace. Yes.
You miss your husband?
Of course I do. I miss him immensely. He was a wonderful man. He was loving, very caring, a brilliant person, a selfless man, always giving, always doing things for humanity. He contributed a lot to, he paid a lot of school fees for underprivileged children, contributed to many causes. Yeah, he was just a wonderful person. I miss him, but I know God is with us.
Yeah. And
yes.
Did you continue, or do you continue to carry on his legacy?
Yes, we try. I'm also very lucky that I have very good, disciplined and supportive children. So they have supported me. I keep joking that, okay, I managed them when they were young, but now they are managing me. and they're doing a good job. So I'm very lucky. Joseph, Lawrence and Claire, my children, and my daughters-in-law, and my grandchildren, they are all very supportive. Yeah, we are a happy, supportive community.
A total of 35 years in marriage, a trailblazer in her line career, and a woman who isn't afraid to break the glass ceiling is who Dr. is. We take a short break, and when we come back, we wrap this season up with one Dr. Mary Okello, looking at all her awards, achievements, and future plans.